Ladies and gentlemen, the following is another magnificent episode of the Wrestling Fans Podcast, Ringside Society. In one corner, we have the greatest thing on God's green earth. No, we're not talking about money, Mary Jane, or Popeye spinach. He is the tribal dart of Ringside Society and Delaware's greatest American hero. And whenever he goes to Taco Bell, he asks for a chief burrito because he loves the combination of chicken and beef. It takes two to make a thing go right. He's Rob Bates, and you are not. And the second quarter, we have that ocean crossing, straight up Boston, flight catching, shot glass snatching. Where's he going next? Nobody knows. Four continents down, two more to go. No cap, straight facts, worldwide star boy, Remy Blue. But it's not about us. You see, we have a special guest tonight. This man is actually responsible for letting us know what it is and what's up in whatever promotion he works in. He's a ring announcer. He is a commentator. He is an interviewer. And let me tell you, this man has done 189 shows across 11 states, made 19 debuts, and has traveled 54,809 miles. You've seen him in OVW. You've seen him in Revolver Pro Wrestling. You've seen him in the great NWA. And now you're going to see him here on Ringside Society. Everybody, welcome to the show, Carmen Michael Childers.
Woo! Excellent job. I got to say, I feel like my job may be at stake here. That's pretty good. I will say we got to update your stats a little bit. That's the thing with when you do a job like mine. You got to make sure you're constantly looking over notes. I'm well over 100,000 miles now. Did about 350 shows the last couple years. So but with that being said, I am so thrilled to be here with you guys. I'm excited to see what you guys have.
Thanks. We're excited. We're excited too. We always enjoy talking to people of that are in the wrestling business, whether it's a wrestler, whether it's a promoter, referee, manager, or a ring announcer like yourself, commentator like yourself, interviewer like yourself. We're always, excited to speak to people. And we know you're a busy man, but we appreciate you actually taking your time out of your busy schedule to do this. So we got to ask you, how's everything been for this year for you?
Oh man, well, I'm taking things a little bit slower this year, which is even then I'm already at I think 95 shows for the year.
Wow. Okay.
But with that being said, this time last year I was well over 100. But
wow.
I've got my firstborn child on the way.
Congratulations.
Due on Thanksgiving, so trying to slow things down a little bit, trying to get the money right, try not to be on the road as much. When I'm a bit of a workaholic, so we're still working on that.
Okay. Well, first off, congratulations on your
sir.
firstborn. That's Thanksgiving. Wow, that's definitely a blessing that's headed you and your wife's way. So, congratulations on that. And yeah, man, wow, 95 shows already. That's impressive, man. Like
a lot of energy drinks.
And I thought Rob was busy because every time I'm like, "Hey, Rob, let's do it. We're gonna do a show on Friday." Nope, I gotta go to training. Or yeah, Rob, let's do a show on the weekend. Nope, I got a show coming up Saturday and Sunday and Friday. I'm like,
weekends are tough. Weekends are tough.
Yeah,
and it's gotten a lot harder because at first it was just Friday and Saturday. Then it became Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Then started working OVW. So now all my Thursdays are spoken for. Now I'm doing a show every other Wednesday. Like it's it adds up.
Yeah, OVW, man. Oh, geez, that's a big honor right there. Like if
dream.
I'm not in the business, but if I ever were in the business and OVW wanted me to work for them, that would definitely be an honor for me because the prestige that they've built up over the last 28 years now they've been around.
Mm-hmm.
That has been something like just it just makes you look at them and like, wow, imagine they started off with a small time promotion and now they're responsible for giving us people like John Cena, Shelton Benjamin, Brock Lesnar and Batista and Randy Orton. And even now, if you really want to go further, you have the Outrunners.
Layla Gray.
Yeah. Tiffany Nieves, I believe she went through there at one time.
Hollywood Haley J as well.
Yep. Whose mother is also so for those y'all don't know, Hollywood Haley J's mother, Maria James, is also a wrestler.
Not just talking about the wrestling, that's where she gets it.
Yeah. So Yeah,
Not
that's awesome.
I was just gonna say, you just touched on it right there. OVW was the dream for me when I first got in the wrestling business. The three big promotions that I wanted to work for were OVW number one, GCW number two, and
Hmm.
then Wrestling Revolver number three. And now I am very fortunate to have, been able to sort of check all those boxes. But like, it's not just the destination that that I'm going for. It's the journey along the way. And I've been at OVW a year and a half now,
Okay.
and I've got a lot of experience. Got to learn from Al. Got to make a lot of friends. Met my future wife there. You know, I've got no complaints.
Yeah, I actually, if you ask me, and I'm not just saying it because you're on our show, OVW has one of the most underrated broadcast teams. I don't know if most of them are still there, but they had one of the most underrated commentary teams when I was watching 5, 10 years ago, and it was the team of Gilbert Corsi
Yep.
and Shannon the Dude. Shannon's so damn hilarious, and then of course, um, was it Dean? I know their first name was
Dean
Dean.
Hill,
Dean
Dean,
Hill,
the
Commissioner Dean
legend.
Hill, was another great one too. That was on commentary, and I look at them like the combination of those three. That has been that's a very underrated commentary team right there, and I always just look forward to hearing them. Hearing what that to say during the shows at OVW. Like I started watching like back in 2013 when you had people like Jamin Olivencia,
He's
who
still around. He's
yeah,
challenging for the OVW Heavyweight Championship on August 17th at Fight Night against Cal Hero, someone who got his start at OVW 7 years ago.
oh yeah, yeah, I definitely remember that. So many great people I've seen there. Cal Hero. You had geez, Bro God. He calls himself. I'm getting old, man. The Bro God. I remember that guy.
Talking about
Um,
Jesse Goddard's,
yeah, no, just no. There was a tag team. Dustin. One was called Dustin. The other one was called Cage.
Dustin Jackson.
Dustin Jackson and not Christian Cage. Colton Cage.
There
Yes,
we
those
go.
two guys. Yeah, I
Yeah,
remember
I'm
seeing those
still
two guys.
I'm still going back and learning my OVW history. There's a lot to go through, so I might
Yeah,
have to check that out.
there was a guy named Moose that was there before there was Moose
Mhm.
in TNA. That's I look back at that and I'm like, that's kind of funny.
No, you,
But
you were you were talking about the broadcast teams. Our current broadcast team, I would really put up there with just about anyone. Of course, for our weekly live television show that airs every Thursday, 7 p.m. Eastern. By the way, uh,
uh-huh.
you've got AJ McKay, Linda Kay, and Josh Ashcraft who do an excellent job. And then on Tuesday nights, myself and Eric Cornish are holding it down on the YouTube channel at 7 p.m. for Overdrive. And let me tell you, we got some cool stuff coming up for Overdrive. So I'm
I can tell
excited
you right
for that.
now, you might want to watch your back with Josh Ashcraft. I don't know, man. That guy has had some very intimidating charges
The
when it comes to
East,
managing wrestlers back in the
the
day.
East End villain for a reason.
I'd watch out for that guy. But
No,
I
but
got
I'm sorry, I keep interrupting. I
go
apologize.
ahead. It's good. It's
but
good. Good. Good.
but kind of touching on how much of an honor it is to be there. You mentioned some of the previous commentators that were there, and of course, you know from all the old clips you used to watch, you hear the voice of Dean Hill, but also like you got to keep in mind like names like Jim Ross and Jim Cornette, Al Snow, all did commentary at
Right.
OVW, and to just have my name like even listed in the grand scheme of OVW is just absolutely insane to me.
Yeah, definitely, man. That's yeah, that's definitely something. But I gotta ask you, I always ask, the majority of our hosts or of our guests that we have on this show, how did your fandom start for professional wrestling? What was the match or the event that you saw that made you go, yo, that's kind of cool. I think I'm gonna tune in next week and the week after and the month after.
So according to my grandmother, uh, the only thing that would get me to sit still in my playpen that I had was if Sting was wrestling. We're
Okay.
talking blonde, flat top, colorful face paint. Sting was the only thing that would get me to just relax and watch TV. So that was where it all started. The first wrestling memory that I have, oddly enough, was the formation of the NWO. My mom had purchased the pay-per-view, and that's the first big thing that stuck out to me. And that's just like one of those core memories that I have of seeing Hogan walk down and hearing Bobby Heenan's yell, "But whose side is he on?" Like that
Oh,
stuck with me.
so I always when you hear Bobby Heenan say things about Hogan, it's like I always wondered if he was a visionary, man. Because like you hear, I mean, I'm not trying. I know Hogan just passed, but it's like people were like, "Yeah, Hulk Hogan, you this, he's that," and I'm like, Bobby, come on, man. And then he's like, the
I'm just
NWO,
saying. I'm just saying.
NWO shows up, and then he's like, "What side is he on?" And then like, "Oh, Bobby was right all along. Hogan is a heel. He joined the NWO." So, wow, Bobby, man, I tell you, Bobby the Brain Heenan, man, he was definitely a hilarious guy. So who were some of your favorites you enjoyed like watching growing up that you couldn't help but cheer for?
So obviously, Sting is number one. Always has been. Always will be. I was very fortunate to be there for his final match. Uh, I was the kid. Grew up obviously WCW household. Uh, Grew up loving the cruiserweights. I loved all the technical wrestlers. I loved all the high flying wrestlers. So for me, obviously, I liked the guys at the top of the card. I thought Sting, DDP, Kevin Nash, Goldberg were as cool as they came. But it was really the undercard. It was like Rey Mysterio, Juventud Guerrera, Psychosis, Eddie Guerrero, the redacted one that no one speaks of anymore. There's there's so many of the undercard guys that I really gravitated to, and now thankfully, like being in the business as long as I have, I've had the pleasure of working with a few of those names that I grew up watching, and that's not lost on me. I've being able to tell Juventud Guerrera, like, hey, I used to play you in video games all the time with my brother who's since passed away. So like just being here with you, just sharing this conversation is just absolutely wild to me.
Wow, I'm sorry for your loss, by the way, with your brother. Yeah, it's always like a funny feeling whenever like you meet these men and women that you enjoyed watching on TV.
The weird
And
one was the first time Chris Jericho said my name.
oh, wow, okay.
I've worked on a few music videos for Fozzy, as well as I helped out for some local shows. And then the first time he walked in the room, he's just like, or first time that he walked into the room, said, "Oh, hey, what's up, Carmen?" I just kind of like, my brain took a second to really register. I'm like, wait, Chris Jericho knows my name? This is weird. And then like years later, I ended up backstage at AEW, and he is walking by and immediately just stopped because I'm thinking, there's no way he remembers me. He just stops. He's like, "Oh, dude, how you been?" Just got right back up.
Wow, that must have been something, man. That definitely must have been like, you know, that definitely must have been like, wow, like he actually knows who I am. That's like when I remember when MySpace was a thing years ago, back in the 2000s. Marty Jannetty, one of my favorite wrestlers, my first favorite wrestlers, one half of my first favorite tag team, the Rockers. He was like, he wished me happy birthday. I'm like, wait, Marty Jannetty wished me happy birthday? What? Did this? I had to do like a double take, pinch myself, slap myself. I'm like, Marty Jannetty, the OG rocker, wished me happy birthday. Wow, this is crazy.
Was this
And
before or
then,
after he started rambling on Facebook?
oh, way before he started rambling.
Okay.
This is like circa 2007. So, and then I sent him a mess. I sent him a post on Facebook. I said, "Hey Marty, I always thought a great dream match would be you and Sean as the Rockers versus London and Kendrick versus the Hardys. London and Kendrick was my other
Woo!
favorite tag team that I enjoyed watching." And he was like, "Yeah, I think me and Sean have one more good match in us to have against those four other guys and whatnot." And I was like, "Wow, this is great." Then I finally met him like what 6 years later, 2013, and like normally I don't mark out because when I'm a fan, you want to I have a podcast. I can't be like mark it out and going crazy. And then I was like, but for some reason, like 7-year-old me just came out and and he was like, dude, I used to watch you when I was younger, man. And you and Sean, like you were my first favorite tag team, and I've only had only three favorite tag teams, but you guys were number one, and I just could not stop. And I got a picture with him and everything, and it's
I get
crazy.
it. I get it. My top 3 favorite wrestlers of all time are Sting, Jericho, and CM Punk. And I was working backstage at AEW at a time where all 3 of them were employed there. The same show that Jericho asked how I was doing. You know, like you mentioned, like I'm there to do a job. I'm not there to, spill my life story and everything. So like it's just weird being in the vicinity of your top 3 favorite wrestlers all in the same place. Like at one point Punk walks by me, we give the little head nod, and then Sting ends up it was in Nashville. There was a no disqualification match, street fight or something with Thunder Rosa and I can't remember who else, but Sting in full face paint comes and stands next to me like while we're watching the TV. And I just kind of look up at him and he looks down at me and we just do the little nod and then turn around and keep watching the TV. And in my head, I'm like, hey, this dude don't know I was him every year for Halloween. And not just like occasionally, I mean every year for Halloween.
Wow. Yeah, that must have been wow, now you're taking me back to when I once did, and y'all don't those of y'all watching and listening at home do not judge me, but one time for Halloween I was the Blue Meanie. I
Oh
know.
man.
I had the blue hair. If I could find a picture, I would. I took a picture of it. I had the blue hair. I had the painted mask on, and I had the blue World Order short, and I was the Blue Meanie that year for Halloween. And funny thing is, I met him the weekend after Halloween. I
Mm-hmm.
was like, "Hey, Blue Meanie, I was actually you for Halloween," and I showed him a picture. He's like, "Ah, cool."
I figured he'd be like, no, you weren't. Don't lie.
Yeah. But yeah, that. Yeah, I'll never forget that Halloween. So now that you're cheering your favorites and you're supporting them by going. Did you ever get to go to the shows when you were like younger or?
Not a lot of them. Unfortunately, we didn't have a ton of money growing up, but I remember went to a WCW Nitro in Birmingham, probably like 98 or so, and then went to a few WWE live events, but it wasn't until I was older that I really got to, once I was able to have my own money, able to go to some Monday Night Raws and some pay-per-views, was able to travel out for the first AEW show, the first AEW Dynamite, then being able to travel out a little bit, but that was that was right on the cusp of me entering the wrestling business because I had started doing audio visual production in 2019 for Southern Honor Wrestling. And that was sort of my foot in the door. And it wasn't until the pandemic that even transitioned into, hey, you used to be in a band, right? So, like, you're comfortable on a microphone. So, you want to ring announce? And that became, hey, do you want to do commentary? Then it was all a slippery slope.
Wow, that's cool how that happened for you though. Like they just you just transitioned in from ring announcing to commentating. So would you say that you being in a band that actually helped you a lot with your
Oh yeah,
delivery for ring announcing?
it's strange because for me, so much of most jobs, any sort of public facing job, they're all very similar. It doesn't matter if you're at your merch table trying to sell t-shirts and stickers or, you're working at a restaurant and, trying to, smile and get your tip. Like it's a lot of it overlaps. And, I was very fortunate years ago to be able to tour in a band. I was singing in a band called Throne of Eden, which, by the way, October 10th will be the 10-year anniversary of our album. You can stream that just about anywhere. Throne of Eden, The Final Days. I actually still sell physical CDs at my merch table for wrestling, and people will come back afterwards. That was you singing? But yeah, just fronting the rock band, helps you get comfortable in front of a crowd. And I think once I sort of found myself in ring announcing, it really helped out because at first you see the people on TV, you want to be all proper and you want to, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. But from what I've found, at least, the fans, like when the cameras aren't rolling, like you can just talk to them like humans. You can ask them questions. You can get them hyped up. Like, and a lot of that is very similar to back in the day when I was in a rock band. So, yeah, I think it helps a lot.
Okay. So I gotta ask you now, in regards to your ring announcing, and commentating, interviewing. Who would you say are some people, either in the wrestling business or outside the wrestling business, that have actually, you say, influence your commentating, ring announcing, and interviewing?
So I think that there's so many. Uh, I think if you actually sit down and sort of just go into it open minded, close your eyes, just listen to my commentary. Obviously, I try to have my own style. I think I really try to blend the sports broadcasting part of it, and you know, obviously the names of the moves, why they're effective, what part of the body it breaks down, and why that sets up for things later on, but also being conversational with it, and being able to have that conversation with my broadcast partner. Uh, there's a lot of Michael Cole, Jim Ross, especially on bigger moments. Don West. There is a lot of
Okay.
Don West. Uh, After he passed away, I started incorporating the you've got to be freaking kidding me. Like, started incorporating in some of that. Every once in a while, just as a little tribute, I'll add in Gorilla Monsoon. Oh, will you stop? Like, just stuff like that. Like, there's little Easter eggs that I plug in just to the people that I really feel like have helped shape me into what I am now. But again, I try to do my own thing, but occasionally I'll tip the hat to who came in front of me.
Okay. That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah, I've always said that with my podcasting style, it's like several people. It's mostly like YouTubers, you
Mm.
know. Mostly, well, like one of them's a YouTuber, one of them is a radio host, and the other one is my mentor, George Alonso, who actually has actually influenced me. But like you said, you want to have your own style. You don't want to,
That
like, be like the last person.
that's the big thing, and I'm very fortunate to be in a position now that a lot of people come to me to ask for advice. Whether that's, hey, how do I reach out to a promotion to try to get booked, or hey, will you give me some feedback on what I'm doing? And I try to tell them, like, I'm sorry, but there's only one Howard Finkel. Not everyone can be Howard Finkel. So if you go
Mhm.
out there and try to be Howard Finkel, it's not going to work. So you can take inspiration and you can find what you like from him, but at the end of the day, you have to find your voice.
Awesome, awesome. So for those of y'all that just heard that, y'all just got some advice from a man who has actually been to several promotions across 11 states. You
We're
just
at
got a little
15
bit
now.
of you just got a little bit of advice from a man who's been there. So, remember that, if y'all could actually, I'm not too good with technology, but if those of you that want, if you want, you can actually go ahead and slice this clip and just replay it, so that whenever you decide to become a ring announcer or a commentator or an interviewer, you just got a little something, something from here from Carmen Michael,
And
who's been in OVW. Go ahead.
with that being said, like, if there is anyone out there, who's just breaking in or wants to know how to make that next step, like, my DMs are open. I may not see it immediately, but if you want to send me a message, ask a question, ask for feedback, uh, it's anything. Feel free to reach out. I'm happy to share the knowledge that I've picked up from people who are a lot better at this than I am, or people who have, been to the places that I want to be, and I'm happy to pass that information along.
Oh yeah. So I just got two more questions. I know Rob is chomping at a bit because I know Rob's going to ask you a bunch of questions. Him being a referee in the business. So my second question, man. is, you've been to 11 states. That's hella impressive. Over 19 debuts, right? And you've been in places like OVW, you've been in places like Combat Zone Wrestling, which is another good promotion over in the Northeast. You've pretty much been to, like you said, done 189 shows, 19 debuts. What is the most profound thing you have learned from doing all of those great accomplishments?
So you just touched on the schedule. Uh, like I said, been very fortunate to be as busy as I am. We're already at 95 shows this year. Last year was 169. The year before that was 101. I've been able to travel to a lot of places, 15 states, countless promotions that were bucket list. It's there's so much that goes on in the wrestling business behind the scenes, on the road. You really just have to not to do the cheap, like expect the unexpected or anything like that, but you have to be flexible. You have to know things aren't always going to go your way. You may get a flat tire on the road. You may show up. There's been times I've flown from Alabama to New Jersey for a spot that I was told I had. And I get there and they're like, oh, wait, yeah, sorry, we don't have anything for you. And then, very next day, go to New York City and work for GCW. Like every day is a mixed bag. You just kind of have to take each day for what it is.
Wow. That sounds like a lot though. Like, Alabama to New Jersey. I know that's not like right next door. It's like from one region to another. And, then to being told that when you get there, yeah, there's nothing, but then you go to New York City, which I wouldn't mind working in New York City. I live here. I actually
it was
live here in
great.
New York. I live in Brooklyn, and you get that opportunity. It's like, wow, like that's like a crazy like change of events right there. Like
if I remember correctly, I think it was the Melrose Ballroom in New York, which is, a place that Ring of Honor, TNA have run shows at, and GCW ran a show there. It was
okay, Mr.
That was
Big Time.
it was the night. It was the night that Matt Cardona did his Undertaker entrance. I
Oh,
remember
okay.
that.
I vaguely remember that, but yeah, I remember that happening. But yeah, Melrose, to be told, wow, that's crazy. So where were you supposed to go in New Jersey? Like, was it like any place like we know of, or because the only place I know about New Jersey is like the Rahway Rec Center and where PWS used to be. I think WrestlePro is there now, and then there is the Mecca, which is another great place, and then there was only other place I can think of is MetLife Stadium, but
I don't really want to touch on it. I don't want to bring negative attention to something that's so long. It's so long ago. It's at first I was a little bummed out, but that's the wrestling business. Took a couple days. I was like, you know what? It happens. I've worked plenty of shows where things had to change the day of because people showed up that you weren't expecting, and the broadcast team they had that night was exceptional, and because of how things played out that night, I actually got to work with Veda Scott the next night.
Wow.
So
yeah, when I asked that, I was asking like what the venue was, not the promotion, but still,
it was at the H2O Center.
Oh, I don't know about that place, but yeah, Melrose, that's big time right there, man. I'm glad it happened for you, man. So I gotta ask you, Miss, Carmen, you're a sly dude because you're a ring announcer and you're a commentator, you're an interviewer, but you're a gym buff because I saw you in that GCW shirt, pumping iron, trying to be all sly on there. I'm like, wait, is this guy sure he's a commentator or is he a wrestler? Let me find out this guy can hit a moonsault or he can do a mean R bar. Like, so I gotta ask you, man, when you're working out, let's be men about it. You work out, you're a gym guy. What are the songs? And besides, one of your favorite songs is High Voltage by Linkin Park. And anybody that listens to Linkin Park most of the times is either one thing. And from the people I've met, they're either aspiring musicians or they like to work out in the gym. So I gotta ask you, what songs are on Carmen Michael Childers' playlist whenever he's ready to knock out those reps?
So first of all, you mentioned Linkin Park. Here is one of my many Lincoln Park tattoos. I actually have
Okay.
Chester's autograph on the leg. But
All right,
because
Chester, man, we miss you, bro.
you had mentioned that
Damn.
the last Lincoln Park show I saw with Chester, I gave him the whole spiel like, "You're the reason I'm a musician. I don't care what it takes. At some point, I'm gonna sing with you." And he just kind of looked at me and went, "I like that." And then fast forward 2 months later, I went to see Stone Temple Pilots in Birmingham, Alabama. And let's see
You're a
here.
well-cultured man. Stone Temple Pilot.
6 songs into the set, Chester sees me out of the corner of his eye and he walks over, he leans forward, and we share the mic for the chorus of Out of Time.
Yo, that's cool.
Afterwards, he comes running,
Man.
he's doing all the high fives and kissing babies and all that, and he stops at me. He just grabs me in a bear hug. And I'm just
Damn.
like frozen. I went, you know that in Tampa? And he went,
Damn.
I know. And he went and got me the set list. So I've got the set list here. And then I've got my ticket from that night. And then I also have a guitar pick that he got for me.
I miss that guy. I don't mean to get emotional, but I just miss that guy, man. Like,
He's genuinely one of the nicest people I ever met. I got very fortunate to have met him a few times. But
yeah.
as far as gym playlist, it is all over the place. I don't know. I can't think of any particular songs, but it's a lot of, Linkin Park, Avenged Sevenfold, A Day to Remember, Wage War, Spirit Box, Ghost. There's so many. I'm such a music guy. Like actually I can pull up my playlist right now and tell you.
Okay.
You hear it first right here. So yeah, A Day to Remember, Linkin Park, Bring Me the Horizon, Periphery, Avenged Sevenfold, got some Paris. Funeral Portrait is a big one. Funeral Portrait, they were coming up about the same time that we were on the music scene down in the Southeast. I know we played a lot of similar venues. So I remember making friends with Lee, their vocalist, really early on in my music career. And while, I went this other path, watching them blow up the way that they have here lately, like they had the #1 rock song for weeks and weeks. They beat out Linkin Park. And these are guys that I used to I used to see play in venues that had, 15, 20 people in them. So
Wow.
I'm glad I saw that. Shout out to Funeral Portrait.
Yeah. One of my all-time rock songs that I always have to have whenever I work out is you should know this band, Seven Dust.
Oh
They have
yeah.
a song called Broken Down. And the first time I heard this song, I was like, this song is a banger. I like it. And then when I started working out, that was one of the first songs I put on my playlist. It was Broken Down by Seven Dust.
So
And
you mentioned the gym, and talking about watching me, like wanting to see me wrestle. Today's actually the 3-year anniversary of my one and only singles match.
okay. Wow. So you did wrestle. Okay.
So I got cast on the TV show Heels.
What?
Yep,
Wow.
blink and you miss it, but I was there. So I was there for weeks and weeks, 12-hour days. They would get me in the spandex and everything. And I'm thinking, okay, well, if I'm going to be in spandex on TV, I at least want to look somewhat decent. So I started hitting the gym really hard. And then New South, my home promotion, the promotion that got me into ring announcing and commentary, they were like, hey, man, you're slimming up a good bit. You think about getting in the ring? I was like, nah, I'm good. And they kept saying, oh, come on, dude. Like, you look the part, like, get in the ring. And it took a lot of convincing, but it finally happened. It was at New South's Anniversary 7, which was 3 years ago today, which, speaking of which, coming up August 16th is the 10th anniversary for New South Pro Wrestling. We've got Jonathan Gresham versus Rhino. We got Big Dave Weaver versus Mad Dog Connolly in a dog collar match. We got New South versus Action Wrestling for the very first time. So there's a lot going on. But, excuse me one second. Didn't want to get that on camera. But yeah, it was 3 years ago. I had a singles match. Main event of Anniversary 7 was a street fight against Donnie Primetime, and it was it was an experience. We went about 22 minutes in the main event. I dove off the top turnbuckle to the outside. I put a man through a door.
Wow.
And just recently, at this year's Haas tournament, you know, things got a little crazy during a match, and the referee did a splash off the top rope. So, I mean, I wanted in on the fun, so I may or may not have hit a suicide dive during the match from the
Oh
commentary.
man. See, I knew there was something about you, man. I knew it. I knew it. But Donnie, so you fought Joey Janela's cousin? Wow, that's crazy.
Yep, I sure did. And Joey's actually making his New South debut on September 6th, and I'm really excited. I've got to hang out with him a good bit over at GCW, but
You
actually
know,
being able to bring him down to Alabama is going to be nice.
I actually talked. It's funny you mentioned because I actually talked. It's funny you talking about it because we actually saw him at WrestleCon over in New Jersey, and I was like, Joey, when are we gonna see you and Donnie team up, man? Like, you guys kind of look similar. Like, when are we gonna see Donnie Primetime and Joey Janela, possibly do that Mega Powers handshake and proceed to kick some collective asses all over the South? And he's like, yeah, I'm gonna be at New South soon, so who knows?
Hell yeah.
I wouldn't mind seeing. I definitely would not mind seeing that though. That would be pretty awesome. So I'm gonna go ahead and turn it over to Rob. Kind of, Rob has a couple questions for you. Rob, go ahead, man. The floor is yours.
What's up, Rob? You've been quiet.
What's going on, man? How you doing, man? How's your day been today?
I'm pretty well.
How's the Wednesday been? It's Wednesday, right?
Busy as always, but every day I'm above ground is a good day.
That's good. That's cool. Yeah, man. Yeah, what they call Wednesday, hump day. You know what I mean? I remember that freaked me out one time. The first time I heard it, it's like, I work with only guys, and somebody needs to watch my back. You know what I mean? Like, no, this ain't happening here. I might have to quit. Oh man. Well, that's awesome, man. Man, I was hearing all your stories. Ring announce and commentating, all that good stuff, man. I think that's awesome. Now, your first time ring announcing, man, did you were there any nerves or anything?
Oh yeah.
Did the promoter or anybody, like mess with you or anything? Because like for one CW, I ring announce, I ref, they said I'm the utility guy. They need me to manage a couple months. I'll manage, you know what I mean? Like I've been through training. I ran through all that. My first time ring announcing, we were doing it was first TV show, first TV taping. I'm at the gorilla. I'm waiting to go out. Now here I'm going. The promoter comes up to me, Sean Hart. He's like, "All right, man. So did you get the script?" I was like, "Script? What script? You know what I mean? I get a script now. Here, 10, 9, 8." He's like, "All right, don't worry about it, man. Just going out there." And I was like, "What? There's a script of 2 1." He's like, "Yeah." He had sent me out there, and I was like, I forgot everything I was supposed to do right when I crossed that curtain. I was like, I went on autopilot. I got in the ring and. I think I got out, for stand up for the, pledge of, or not pledge of allegiance, the anthem and stuff. But yeah, after that, I was like, all right, I'm good after that. Yeah.
Those first few really shook my nerves. It was which the first first time I ring announced, I told this story on Fightful. So I had tried out for New South earlier in that. No, it wasn't earlier in the day. It was the day before. And unbeknownst to me, I had tore my quad. So next day I get there. They're like, "Hey, we're gonna let you ring announce the pre-show match. Just sort of get a feel for you, see if we like it." I remember going out there. It was John Averson versus Luther X. And I remember getting out there and, I'm nervous. So I'm like moving around and I just grip the mic. "The following contest is," and I just yell everything. And that's kind of what I did for almost the first year. Cause no one really taught me or anything like that. I would just kind of watch and I'm thinking, okay, well, I need to be loud. And then, once I started doing 2 days in a row, 3 days in a row, I'm like, okay, this isn't sustainable. So that's when I kind of, corrected course. And now everything is very pronounced and I project out and then I save the grit for, big moments. I think that has helped a lot, but that's also in part to do with the fact that a lot of these promotions I'm pulling double duty at. So I'll go ring announce, and I'm back to the table, put the headset on, and now I'm play by play again.
That's awesome.
So it's a lot. So you have to learn to take care of your voice. But those first few, for sure, I was nervous, didn't know quite what I was doing, but I'm very thankful that I got out there and not necessarily floundered, but I was able to go out there and make those mistakes early on, and learn from them as we went.
Hey, don't feel bad. I've done double duty too. I've had to sit there in my ref gear and ring announce, and then go right to refing. It's like, all right, yeah, I'm doing this, throwing stuff in my pocket. Hopefully, nothing flies out. You know what I mean?
I would say about half of the shows I do every year, I'm double duty, which is a lot.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Now, was there a time when you like ring announcing where you like, man, you might not have the best confidence, but then somebody comes and tells you like, you're doing a great job or whatever, man, and you're like, oh, okay, yeah, no, you can't tell me anything now. I'm good to go. I got this.
So I remember taking this as a compliment at the time until, later on, once I had more knowledge, I realized, it wasn't quite the compliment. But this guy came to me. I was still a few months in, and he was on the undercard, and he was just like, man, I appreciate you so much. You're so good at making every match feel like the main event. And in my head, I'm thinking, all right, yeah, the boys love it. Like I'm making every match feel like the main event. And it wasn't until I was thinking about it, I was like, well, if every match feels like the main event, then the main event doesn't quite feel special now, does it?
Yeah.
But I remember that was the first little bit, like, okay, maybe I'm doing something right, which no, I wasn't, but it felt good in the moment. But now it's nice to have people on TV and people in high ranking places tell me, hey, we've got our eye on you. You're doing a great job. You're doing everything the way you need to do. Just keep at it. So that's kind of what I'm focusing on right now, is just following their advice. So
that's awesome, man. So now, do you have a preference? Do you like ring announcing more, interviewing, backstage interviewing, or commentating more? Like, if you had to pick, if they're like, like sales runner promotion, like, hey man, you can ring announce, interview, commentate. What you trying to do?
Honestly, it depends on the place.
Okay, I gotcha.
Sometimes, like Wrestling Revolver is a great example. When I'm there, I'm only ring announcing. Okay. And it's not, even then, I'm ring announcing, but it's also almost like a party host. So I go out there, rile up the crowd. The following contest is a singles bout, introducing first, boom, 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 boom. And I go to the back and I hang out with the boys, which I don't get that everywhere because I'm used to pulling double duty just about everywhere. I love that, but at the same time, there's something so special about putting on a headset and being able to craft a story. Maybe there's not much of a story on paper for this matchup, but if you're on your game, you can craft something on the spot. And I think that almost when that red light is on, just that challenge of, okay, people are watching. I have to make this make sense. I have to make this compelling. And, even if, the match may seem random, it's up to me to draw the parallels. Or if there's not anything to work with there, it's a sport. Talk about why they're doing the things they're doing, why they're trying to win, why does winning make you more money? Like, just I like them both. It's hard. Interviewing, we can place that over to the side.
Yeah.
It's always difficult because I feel like, in my experience, most places that have the backstage interviewer position don't fully have their ideas mapped out.
Yeah.
So it's a lot of the same, oh, so-and-so, you're facing so-and-so later tonight. What are your thoughts? It's just a lot of, I used to call myself the professional mic holder. And part of that was, everything I do revolves around me holding a microphone. Yeah. But the underlying joke there was how often I would just be, holding the microphone for someone to talk.
That's funny.
Yeah. I mean, it's all fun,
Mhm.
but I would say interviewing will place off to the side, and then ring announcing and commentary are a tie.
That's cool. That's cool. Yeah, I get that. Depending on the place, but then I got you, man. Nothing wrong with that. Now, see, commentary is the one thing like I don't think I could do, and I don't think they would let me because sometimes I can say so. I'll say some stuff. It's like not appropriate for DSN. Delmarva Sports Network or something like that. Like somebody does a big move, I'd be like, Jesus Christ, if he does a move like that, what would he do for a Klondike bar? Kill a man? Stuff like that, or man, backstage, during this match, he really hates his opponent because backstage he told me his mom's like a shotgun, two cocks and she blows. You know what I mean? So you get, not even, I'll just go like that, and they would just be like, no. So the commentating one, they're all like, because they heard me in promo class in school and stuff. They're like, no, no, you can't say that.
So it depends on the promotion that I'm at. Occasionally, I'll work a promotion. I'll use AWE, Atlanta Wrestling Entertainment, for
Okay.
example. They're a promotion that are okay if the F-bombs fly. But
Okay.
logically, you can't just pick Michael Cole up from one universe and drop him into another, and suddenly, he's a badass who's swearing up and down.
Mm-hmm.
So I would use them very, 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 very rarely, but only when they made sense. My commentary partner, Rob Weathers, who's actually my roommate here now.
Okay.
We moved in together so we could do post-production commentary and make traveling a lot easier. But there was a time where he was getting jumped by the Carnies, Kerry Awful and Nick Iggy. And then off mic, I pull the mic to the side like this, and I yell, "Get your effing hands off him."
Mm-hmm.
So, like, when you use them sparingly, to me, it makes it so much more impactful rather than just dropping them nonstop. Now, I will say, when we are, when I'm working for a promotion that are just posting the matches to YouTube, meaning, hey, everything before the bell and after the bell, we're just cutting off, just, for monetization issues. If I know that, hey, this is never going to see the light of day, me and whoever my commentary partner is at the time will usually cut up or make jokes or whatever, but no one ever sees it.
Yeah.
It's a lot similar to if you've ever seen that clip of Jim Ross, and I can't remember who his partner was at the time, but they go to break, and Jim Ross said, "Yeah, you're not going to miss anything because they're not effing doing anything." It's a lot.
Okay. Yeah, I remember that. The first time that was crazy. The first time I went to like a Raw taping or whatever, and like it was a commercial break, and it was like, oh yeah, I finally get to see what happens. It was like
the lights.
they were just doing the rest whole the whole time, you know what I mean? And then they come back. Then I was like, okay, all right,
It makes sense now.
Yeah, it makes sense now. Yeah, now that I know what to do and all the stuff now. I've been through. Yeah, I know. Like, all right, yeah, I got it.
I will say it has ruined a lot of my enjoyment of watching wrestling. That now just watching, I can look for small things, whether it's where their eyes are looking or whether it's where their hands are going, just stuff like that. I'm like, okay, well, I know what's about to happen. Yeah, he's about to kick out of this. He's about to. Like,
I do that with like when I'm watching movies and there's like a fight scene or whatever and all. I'm like, okay, how are they? What's the storybook with this? And I'm like, there's this part, this part, this part. All right, yeah, here we go. Yeah, and sometimes I'm like, oh yeah, this is the squash. I'll do that. I do that in movies all the time.
I'm the worst to watch a movie with because I'm like that because my storytelling brain goes off and I'm like, okay, well that guy seems weird. So, okay, yeah, so like the daughter's gonna get stolen by this person, and this person's going to come out, and the dad's going to come to save it, and then the reveal is this guy was the bad guy all along. And they're like, shut up, we don't know what you're talking about. And then it plays out in the movie. I'm like, well, I guess I'm Nostradamus.
my friends, when Sixth Sense came out, we went to the movies and seen it. I was like, I watched the beginning, and then if you don't know the twist in the Sixth Sense, you know what I mean? It's like a 30-year-old movie. You know what I mean?
It's
Bruce
been
Willis
long
is dead.
enough.
Yeah. So in the
Rob,
beginning and all, I
go
seen
ahead.
the thing, we're in the theater, and then Bruce Willis dies and all. Yeah, I seen the thing, like he's seen dead people and all the previews. I'm sitting there, I'm like, so is Bruce Willis a ghost or something? They're like, shut up, no, 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 no. And then at the end, they're just like, Jesus Christ, man. Everybody, like, people were over there, man. I'm like, I never seen the movie. I was just making an educated guess, you know what I mean? 'Cause he just popped up right there after that thing, you know what I mean? I was like, I don't know. So speaking of that, man, I do got to ask. I always like to ask. Are there any new movies and TV shows that you're into right now? Like you've seen, because I'm always trying to find something new. Because I'm 43 years old and I watch the same things over and over again. Like comfort food. Like I'm good with watching Sanford and Son on repeat. The Office. Stuff like that. Always Sunny. So is there anything you're watching? Stuff like that.
I was actually just watching the new season of King of the Hill right before
Me too.
I jumped in here. Just finished episode 2. I'm loving it so far. Which I grew up on. I grew
Thank
up
you,
watching
Bobby.
South Park and King of the Hill and
Same here.
Beavis and Butthead, Celebrity Deathmatch, all that.
Yeah.
Probably shouldn't have
Episode
been.
3 of King of the Hill is real funny. I'm not going to say what happens, but
Okay, good.
I think it's in the description. Like him and Dale go to the George W. Bush Museum.
Oh Lord.
So I'll just leave it at that. That one right there was like, oh man, it had me cracking up. I was belly laughing on some of this stuff on there. I was like, wow. I think on the first episode of King of the Hill, man, they were stalking somebody, and then Joseph was running and hiding, and he jumped into a trash bag and hid himself. You know what I mean? When they're running away, and I was like, if he would have went shot just like Dale, I would have lost it, man. I was like, man, he needed to do that, man. Man, yeah, King of the Hill, Beavis and Butthead, I'm there with you, man. They got a new season of Beavis and Butthead coming out
I
soon, too,
saw.
man.
I'm ready for it.
Yeah, I saw the last couple seasons, and I was like, they never missed the beat. They got the regular Beavis and Butthead, and then they got Beavis and Butthead that age with everybody else. So I was like, yeah, that's hilarious. That's great. Now, when you're so you all those shows you've been to, all that stuff, man. Where is the farthest you have traveled? You say you're going from like Georgia, New Jersey. Have you gone anywhere else farther west? You know what I mean? How far north have you got? New York, New Jersey, about the farthest you got north.
So as far as doing broadcast work, furthest would be New York City. That's the furthest east. I think the furthest west I've worked would be Houston, Texas.
Oh, okay.
But just, from traveling in general, I've been out to Las Vegas, Los Angeles, and all that, which, by the way, a big goal for me this year was to go to the West Coast to work finally. But, obviously the baby changed the plans a little bit. But
Yeah.
next year I am definitely looking to get towards the West Coast for the first time, do some commentary, finally work with my boy Jordan Castle, because him and I have been talking about doing commentary together for like 2 years now, and we've only been in the same place once, and we need to make it happen.
That's awesome. Now, doing those travels, traveling and stuff, man. Do you have any, on the road and stuff? Do you have any funny travel stories? Like have you seen a Bigfoot or a UFO or something you can share?
Lord.
Because I'm always trying to find out these stuff, man. Because in Georgia, I heard you don't have Bigfoot. It's like a swamp monster or something you got, man. Down there and stuff, and then Jersey Devils and stuff, man. Have you ever come across anything crazy or anything, or has it been status quo? Just chill.
Oh man, I don't know if there's anything I can tell from road stories.
You don't have to. Yeah, you don't have to.
When you get a group of wrestlers into a vehicle, just in general, it's already going to get a little rowdy. But when you get a group of wrestlers into a vehicle, then it gets to 2, 3, 4 in the morning, and everyone's delusional. Then like that's where the real meat and potatoes is of the road trips. Actually, I do have a story. New South did a show at the H2O Center in New Jersey. It was New South versus Bloodstorm Pro, which is available on IWTV. So we rent a large van, go up there. We literally drive there from Alabama to New Jersey, do the show, drive right back. I can't remember the exact time. I want to say it was like 17 hours just one way, just because of the stops. But I remember leaving the show. Our driver at the time was like, by the way, Rita Raccoon, I love you. You're amazing. You're a phenomenal person. She was a trooper. She wanted to drive the entire way. She's like, I don't sleep at night anyway. Like, what's the big deal? So she offers to drive back. Everyone else is sleeping. I was like the last holdout. I'm just like dozing in and out. And finally, like, I'm out. We stop at, I don't even remember. It wasn't a Wawa. It was something that was like Northeast exclusive. And she turns off the van and she just says, hey, I just need like 15 minutes to take a quick nap. I'll be good. And I was like, okay. So I'm like wiping my eyes. I get up. I go in to pee. I come back. Sitting there. I doze off again. I wake up to the van being put in reverse. Okay. So we back out. We get back on the highway. At this point, the only people awake are me, Rita, who is driving, and then Dump Sanders, who's the owner of New South. And we get maybe 10 minutes away. And then on the screen, it pops up. It says, Negative Lee is calling. And we're like, well, that's weird. Why is Negative Lee calling from the back of the bus or from the back of the van? And we looked back and we're like, wait a minute.
Oh man.
he had went in to use the bathroom while everyone was asleep. And didn't make it back in time, so we left him at the gas station in the middle of nowhere, somewhere in, I don't know if we were in Pennsylvania, if we were still in New Jersey, or where we were, but left him stranded. And Dump finally was like, okay, answers the phone, and the first thing Lee says, Dump, do we got heat, brother? So we had to turn right back around and go pick him up. And just watching him walk back from the gas station towards the van, just pouty, because he got left at 2 a.m, was amazing.
Oh man, yeah, that's crazy, man. Oh man.
That's an all-timer.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I probably would have asked. Like, man, do y'all have heat too? Because it'd been cold. Man, I don't know. I would have stayed in there. Like, oh man, they're coming back. But yeah, I would have been like, y'all got heat? Cause
I've got another one too. Where did we go? We went somewhere for WrestleMania because New South had a spot on an IWTV show. And the van was small. We were jam-packed. So every time we made a stop, we would cycle out who sat in the very back with all the bags. Everyone had to do it. Let me just clarify. We stop at a gas station, and are you guys familiar with Nasty Leroy?
Yeah, we know Nasty Leroy.
We've had him on our show before.
So Leroy,
he's a friend of the show.
We're like, Leroy, buddy, it's your turn to get in the back. And he went, man, I don't want to get in the back, man. Man, F y'all, man. I'm not getting in the back. We're like, hey, Leroy, come on. Everyone's got to get in the back, at least for one part of the trip. So he gets in the back. We're riding. I get on Twitter and I'm scrolling. I see a tweet from Negative Leroy, which I hope still isn't up there. He posts a picture from the back of the van showing all of us and tags New South Wrestling and said, at New South PW, making me sit in the back of the van like Rosa Parks. And we all turned around like, what the hell are you doing? Leroy, no, you can't do that. And he was just arms crossed. But you can't say that.
Oh, that's funny. Oh man.
God, I love that man.
Come on, Leroy, so man. You're gonna get us all in trouble. It ain't like that. Man,
let me tell you, I love Leroy to death. Like, genuinely, there's nobody like him. I remember one time a girlfriend that I had at the time, I introduced them, and the first thing out of his mouth, hey, man, you trying to be a nasty hottie, man? I'm like, stop. Stop. He's always
Oh, that's
on.
hilarious.
I love him to death.
That's funny. That's funny. So
Hey, Nasty
you know.
Leroy undefeated at Center Stage in Georgia.
Oh,
Center
okay.
Stage in Georgia. He just won a battle royal for One Fall Wrestling.
All
Undefeated
right.
at Center
All right.
Stage.
Let's go, Leroy. That's right. That's how we do.
You know
That's how
who's
we do
not
it.
undefeated at Center Stage?
Who's
Ric
that?
Flair.
Oh, damn. There we go.
Macho Man Randy Savage, but Leroy.
There you go. There you go. There you go.
Someone clip this
So,
and send this to Leroy.
when is your next show that you got going on, man? Do you have anything this weekend, next weekend,
Oh
or is it
Lord.
like the next one you said the 17th or
Yeah, so
16th?
I will be leaving 8 a.m. to head from Alabama to Louisville, Kentucky. Every Thursday, I got OVW. We tape Overdrive before before Rise goes live. So we've got OVW tomorrow, and then have a very rare Friday off. Saturday will be Viral Pro Wrestling's 9th anniversary with a
Okay.
main event of Cedric Alexander versus WWE ID talent Sean Legacy. So be my first time working with Viral Pro Wrestling. They've been on my radar for a while. They're one of those promotions in the Southeast. They've got top of the line production value. They bring in some great names. They tell great stories. So I'm really excited to get there for the first time. And then next weekend will be New South's anniversary show. It'll be 10 years of New South. We've got a special free convention for the fans beforehand. Kicks off at, I believe, 5 o'clock. We call it Best Fest. We're going to have former WCW star Lash LaRue in the house drawing caricatures. We got sign making. We've got a trash talk showdown where you can come and film a promo with either myself, Scotty Moore, who is my commentary partner, or our new broadcast colleague Squids, who will be there. It's going to be a lot of fun. We got a lot of big stuff planned. You know, you never know what to expect with our anniversary shows. A lot of big returns. We got Derek Neal and Shug D both making their returns to New South for the first time in quite a while, both former New South heavyweight champions. And for those of you who are like, oh, okay, New South sounds familiar, where do I know it from? We're the promotion with the giant belt. The absolute giant belt that goes viral probably every 6 months. So
New South is located in is it Georgia? There's New South
Alabama.
and there's Pro South, right?
So there's a few promotions in Alabama. New South would be the biggest of which. Pro South also runs in Piedmont, Alabama. So let's see. This weekend, yes, covered that. Next week on Wednesday the 13th, we also have a new series that New South has started called the New South Honky Tonk Bar Brawls, which is almost like our tryout show. We know it's not always feasible for people to come out on a Saturday to be able to help set up the ring, introduce themselves to the powers that be, or get a match or anything like that. So every other Wednesday, Huntsville, Alabama, we're doing these shows. It's basically a live audition. You show up, you help set up the ring, you will have a match, you will be seen by not just everyone at New South, but we also have representatives from TWE, Action, IWTV, all there watching. So you could show up for an audition and leave with, 3 or 4 bookings with multiple promotions. So
that sounds awesome right there.
That'll be Wednesday the 13th. Again, anniversary is the 16th. And then Nathan Mowry's Blood and Honey 5 on August 17th, which is on a Sunday. Deathmatch wrestling in Atlanta is booming thanks to Nathan Mowry.
There you go. So y'all hear that? You know what I mean? You can check them out. You know, all those shows. You know, on TV, all that good stuff. You know what I mean? So yeah. I'm happy to hear you doing your thing, man. Now, before I pass it on back to Remy, I do want to say, thank you very much for taking time out of your busy schedule to come chat with us, man. I had a blast, sharing stories, and hearing about, from the beginning till now and stuff, man. It was awesome. I wish you nothing but the best tomorrow when you wake up, man. I hope, on your way to, wherever you're going, you find $20 on the ground, and then tonight when you hit the hay, I hope both sides of your pillow are cool, man.
Dude, let me tell you, gas from from Birmingham, Alabama to Louisville, Kentucky every week. That's an 11-hour round trip that I'm making
I believe it.
every single Thursday. So
That's right.
as you can imagine, that's a lot of gas. It's $80 worth of gas that
Well,
that
I
happens
hope you
every Thursday.
find a 420, 4 or 520s, on your way, man. Instead of just one. Even if one's cool,
I
but
hope
if you
so.
can get 4 or 5, yeah, there you
I
go.
hope so.
Yeah, there you go.
Carmen, I just gotta say, thank you very much for taking
Thank
time out
you.
of your busy schedule to be a guest on our show. Really and truly appreciate it. And we wish you nothing but the best with your with your wrestling career. We hope that you don't just make it to the West Coast, which, and if you do, that the West Coast, they're very lively over there. We hope you
Oh,
get a chance to go across borders to Canada, to Mexico, to Hawaii, to Alaska. We hope you get to go there, and when you get signed by one of the big leagues like AEW or WWE, we'll be like, yeah, we just had the guy on our show. We just had that man on our show, like, the other day, and now he's doing big things, man. Like,
Hey,
yeah,
if
go Carmen, man.
if that happens, you have my full permission to just never shut up about it.
Oh, so
You
the
can take credit if you want to. I don't mind.
funny thing we about us is that we're a very humble podcast, but we've had people. I'm not trying to brag, but we've had people that have gone on to be signed by the big leagues. Roxanne Perez, Ren Sinclair. This one guy who's in that I had the pleasure of finally meeting in person this past weekend, Jack Cartwheel. He's in WWE Evolve, and I saw him. I was like, "Yo, thank you for being on our show." And I told one of the promoters that brought him in, I'm like, "Yo, this guy right here is the reason why we do what we do. Why we always have our philosophy, our policy, which is we don't care if you make it to the big leagues or not. The fact that you go out there and go into that ring and put on a show and leave it all out there for us, the fans, is enough for us to say, hey, we want to talk to you. We want to know what your story is." And I told him in front of the promoters, I'm like, "Hey, Jack, thank you. Really and truly appreciate it." And the funny thing with his story was that he followed us first. We didn't know about him until he followed us on Twitter, and us thinking, "Wait, you're a wrestler? You follow us? Let's go and have him on the show because there's obviously something about us that a wrestler of all people is interested." So we made that happen, and this was way before WWE Evolved. This wasn't because we got signed. Like, this was way before that, like 2020. And yeah, now he's signed, and we've had several others. So yeah, we like to see things like that. We like to see people that work hard get rewarded. So yeah, we'll definitely be cheering you on, man.
I appreciate you so much, guys.
But before we shut this show down, where can fans find you on social media when they want to find out where your next appearances, purchase Carmen Michael Childers merchandise, and where can bookers and promoters find you when they want to book you for their shows?
So all social media will be at CarmenMChilders. That is Carmen M. Childers on Twitter, Instagram, all that good stuff. My resume, as always, will be my pinned post. So for any promoters out there, you want to see if the hype is real, take a look at the resume. I've got video samples. Speaking of which, not not saying don't follow me, because please do, but be sure to check out, obviously, Pro Wrestling Revolver, OVW, New South, NWA Crossfire, all these great promotions that I'm very fortunate to work for. Go out of your way, check out some matches. You may find someone new that you've never even heard of that you want to start following, and just support indie wrestling.
Yeah, definitely. Y'all should definitely support indie wrestling because you never know. Those of you that are watching and listening, you never know where somebody's going to be. So you definitely might want to go ahead and support your local promotion. I've been saying this since the beginning of Ringside Society. Support indie wrestling. You never know where the next star is going to be from. And pro wrestling's unpredictable these days. I mean, come on, look at James Ellsworth. Nobody saw that happening, and lo and behold, he got. And I'm not making fun of him. I'm just saying it's how predictable it is. So make sure you actually support your local promotion. Make sure y'all give Carmen a phone. I didn't know your name was Childers. I thought it was Childers. My bad. I didn't mean
You're
to.
fine.
So I
You don't
mispronounced your
have a
name.
last name like that growing up and not hear that a few hundred times. It's all good.
Yeah, but y'all make sure y'all follow Carmen Michael here. Definitely incredible individual that's working hard and it's paying off for him. And that way, when he gets signed to the big leagues, and somebody goes, "I just got the new T-shirt or autograph from Carmen Michael," you can be like, "Man, sit down, man. I had that since I had his 8x10s and his shirts from when he was on the Indies, man."
Hey,
So
speaking of which, prowrestlingtees.com/Carmen Michael. Every purchase helps get me gas money, gets me further down the road, which helps me live the dream. And I appreciate each and every one of you who pick
see,
one
there
up.
you go. So if you can't make the shows, that's another week of support. Is by going on Pro Wrestling Tees and copying the merchandise that this man has, and that way, you'll be able to be like, yes, I'm actually helping with the business. So definitely make sure you support. Definitely make sure you give him a follow. And with that being said, it's about time for us to shut this show down. My eyelids are getting heavy. My stomach is rumbling. That means it's time for dinner and a nap. Maybe not in that order, but before I partake in those activities, Rob Bass, the Mel Gibson to my Danny Glover, the Sean Spencer to my Burton Guster, and the Tommy to my Ghost. That's a power reference for those of y'all that don't know. It's a great series. Where can fans find you on social media when they want to talk wrestling, find out my next appearances, purchase Rob Bass merchandise, and where can bookers and promoters find you when they want to book you for their shows?
All right, you can find me on Instagram at Rob_Base82, Facebook Rob Base. This Saturday at Harrington, Delaware, the Parks and Rec Center. Don't worry, it's air conditioned. 1CW will be there with another awesome event. We're taping for TV. We have our main event, Tiberius Asante, the 1CW Pro Wrestling Champion, is going to go against Jason Andrews, who hasn't had a title shot in years in one CW. So
Ooh, the
it's
last
going to be
Ronin.
it's going to be a big match. Another match we have going on: Hobo Harry versus cousin Wyatt. The loser of this match has to be the other one's servant. So if Hobo loses, he's Wyatt's servant. If Wyatt loses, he's going to be the servant to Hobo Harry. We also have some WWE guys coming in. Donovan Dijak's going to be in and make an appearance. As you said earlier, James Ellsworth's going to be there. I think Rich Swann might make an appearance or something. I'm not 100% sure yet, but we got a couple more, so definitely stay
Tell
tuned. You know
him,
what I mean?
tell
You
him
can get
Carmen
tickets.
said hello. Tell
Which
Swan
one?
Carmen said hello.
Rich Swann. Okay, yeah, I gotcha. So yeah, we got that going on. So yeah, if you can't make that, go to DelmarvaSportsNetwork.com or 1CW or Papa Scott Productions on YouTube. You can catch all the episodes from episode 1. You can see me ring announcing, refing. You might even see me get beat up as a ref, getting beat up in the ring, and get beat up as security. You can catch all that stuff. You know what I mean? Catch up with all the storylines of what's going on right now. So definitely go there and yeah, Ringside Society, like, subscribe us. You know what I mean? So here you go.
Yeah, I'm gonna say that right now. 1CW, if you're in Delaware, for those of y'all listening and watching, if 1CW is in your area, if you live in Delaware, check out 1CW. They are doing great things. I'm not just saying that because Rob is my co-host. No, I've actually been there personally, and this was last year for WrestleMania week. Show was phenomenal. I had a great time, and I assure you that you will too as well. So make sure you check out 1CW if they show in your area. Shout out to Sean Carlson and Sean Hardy, two great promoters that are doing it well and doing it right. And because they're doing those things, they're a success in my opinion. If you want to follow me on social media, not that I say a lot of cool things, but I do go to a lot of cool places. If everything goes right, I will be in Surabaya, Indonesia in October. You can find me and all my trips. As a matter of fact, I'm gonna give y'all a little bit of a preview for those of y'all that are listening and watching. I am currently doing a Major League Baseball ballpark tour. I've already actually visited, and what I'm doing is I'm actually trying to visit every ballpark in Major League Baseball and do the public tour that they do there. I've done one for Yankee Stadium, and tomorrow I will be going to Citi Field, home of the two-time World Series champions, the New York Mets. And then afterwards, I will be going over to our rivals in Fenway Park, um, the Boston Red Sox. Hopefully, I come back with all my limbs. But yes, I'll be doing that. And to see me do that, you can definitely follow me on Instagram at the Remy Blue. Same thing for Twitter at the Remy Blue, and also TikTok as at the Remy Blue as well. I'm also on Blue Sky at Remy Blue, and I'm also on Facebook as you guessed it, Remy Blue. Just follow me on there. Our podcast is also on social media. We're on Twitter and Instagram and Blue Sky at Ringside Society. We're on Twitch at Ringside Society 2019. We're on Facebook as a Facebook group. And we're also on Spotify and Teespring, where you can find official Ringside Society merchandise. We have t-shirts, we have hoodies, we have coffee mugs. We have 3 designs right now, and we're getting more very soon. And last but not least, we have a YouTube channel where you can see cool interviews like this one we're doing with Carmen Michael, like the one we had with Salem Alexander, the ones with Alexandra Quinn, and many great people, many great men and women in professional wrestling. You can find those interviews on YouTube, and to see them, it's very simple. It's not even rocket science. It's not even pre-algebra. Just go on YouTube and type in Ringside Society. I want to see that really good-looking dark blue and light blue yin-yang sign with the blue flames around it. That's when you know it's us. So make sure you subscribe to all our videos, because we got a lot of cool stuff coming up, and you don't want to miss a thing like Aerosmith in 1998. But with that being said, we just want to thank everybody tuning in live tonight. We really and truly appreciate it. Thank you very much. We strive on being one of the best wrestling podcasts a wrestling fan could, should, and would listen to. And one of the realest wrestling podcasts as well, too. And we're not going to stop being that. To those of y'all that are going to listen later on, we get a chance. Thank you very much in advance. And those y'all that hate us, can't stand us, really and truly wish we'd go away. Well, like myself at Golden Corral and Rob Bass at the Taco Festival, we're not going anywhere for a while.
They hate us because they ain't us.
And we ain't stopping. So with that being said, we just want to let everybody know that we're very well and aware that everybody and their grandparents and their parents have a podcast. But guess what? We're not your grandparents' podcast. We're not your parents' podcast. As a matter of fact, we're not just any podcast. So with that being said, hey, yo, Rob Bass, one time for the mind, one time for the people, one time for the wrestling culture, and one time for the very talented, hardworking, undeniably soon to be successful Carmen Michael Childers.
Woo!
What type of podcast are we?
We're the Wrestling Fans Podcast.
That's right, we're the Wrestling Fans Podcast, Ringside Site. As a matter of fact, we'll be back tomorrow with another impressive guest. Joining us will be one of the most talented Macho Man cosplayers in the game today, and we're talking about the Machoverse. He'll be joining us tomorrow at the same time. But until then, we just have 4 favors for y'all. Just 4. Stay safe, stay healthy, be excellent to each other, and enjoy wrestling. We out. Peace.
See y'all. Good night. Stay classy, Delaware.